name is Dewan Lamont Bouveaun. I practiced law for about 20 years in the state of Indiana, and specifically Indianapolis. I went to school at Ball State University, and I got a bachelor's degree in communications, and then I got a master's degree in information systems. Then I went to law school and got a doctorate of jurisprudence and, of course, law. And I also published professionally with the Howard University's School of Law. If you can look me up, their journal, their law review journal. The title is The Sudan and the Organization of African Unity. I was really concerned about the African leaders' response to Europe and Asia and the rest of the world, West as well, and how to better the situation for Black people there. Because however Africa goes, Black Americans and Blacks in the diaspora will go too, whether we like to know that or not. We like to disassociate ourselves with our people, but it doesn't matter what we like. It's how the world will treat us. Okay. And so I was very concerned, and I still am very concerned with what happens on the continent of Africa. So, I took care of my grandmother for the last 10 years of her life. And then I came to Atlanta in about 2013, 2014. I pretty much gave up practicing law because I didn't like it. And so I've been living very humbly now. I'm working on a project, and you all may find this of interest. I believe firmly that some of the rooted problems in the African American culture is that we have lacked structure and foundation. And, well, for instance, in the 1980s and 90s, we've allowed crack to attack our families. We allowed welfare and stuff to basically move Black men out of the homes, because in that time, the welfare system, you couldn't have a man in the home. If she got any type of system, assistance from the government. We even allowed boys to create songs to call Black women whores and bitches. What culture does that? What culture allows their men to make music and call their very own women a bunch of bitches and hoes? I mean, Kanye's West is right that if you would have done that said about a white Jewish woman, you'd never see that CD ever. They don't tolerate it. But anyway, so that's just who I am. Okay. And so one of the things I thought was really I would like to do here in Atlanta is produce a calendar. And what the calendar does is basically reinstitutes values that and I'm advocating we should have back in the Black culture. Just out of curiosity, did anybody have any questions before I start?
No, go ahead, flow.
All right. Well, so what is the African American culture of Black calendar about? Well, we got many principles, but let me just tell you some of the biggest principles that we do have. One is economic empowerment. We were saying that we need to economically empower each other and watch where our money goes. We need to learn about finance. We need to learn about credit. We need to learn about how the financial and economic system works. Two, we're also going to have a political politics. We have to get involved politically. One of the problems I have out of Black people is that we sit up there and talk about the political system and we don't quite understand how it works. Okay, if it doesn't work, then yeah. One of the things, if you start understanding how it works, then you know how to manipulate it to your benefit. Okay. And Dr. King represents that, by the way. Economic empowerment, Madam C.J. Walker represents that. After that, what we have is education. Black people, we've always loved education historically. I don't know what happened in the 80s to the 90s. We started talking about, educated fool, education is not for everybody. We've never said such stupid things in our lives. I mean, if you got to know Black history, you will know that Black people don't talk like that. We got some gutter generation that happened in our culture where they wanted to go cater to the lowest common denominator possible. Like, okay, so you don't need a man, and yeah, well, your kids do. Well, so what? I'll be the man and the father. You can't be a man and the father. Education is not important. You don't need help. See, we really fell apart. So one of the things that I'm advocating is with education, we're going to have to start educating our own children. Okay, that's important. And stop saying silly things like education is not for everybody. Education is for everybody all the time. All right, now, not necessarily formal education, but some type of education. Okay, so one of the other, and for education scholarship, who's Father of Black History Month. We also have after education, we have self-determination. Malcolm X represents that. Basically, self-determination, the African American culture and calendar means that we define who the hell we are and who our leaders will be. You don't decide who our leaders. You know, you all get all these stupid Negroes running around talking about civil rights leaders. You're not my leader. Just because you're a civil rights leader, that's not synonymous with being a black person spokesperson. We don't know who the hell you are most of the time. You know, you got these old stupid old ass people running around talking about I'm a civil rights leader as if they speak for black people. You don't speak for me. You don't speak. You speak for the NAACP, which, by the way, is not a black organization. The NAACP has never been a black organization. It was established by white Jews. Then they got W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a black, first black to graduate from Harvard. They got him to join on board to legitimize the organization. But that organization had been started by two white Jews. They didn't even have a black president until 1970s, around 1970s, I believe. NAACP has never been a black organization. I don't care how many Negroes are in it. It's not a black organization, period. It never has been. So self-determination tells us we decide who our leaders are. You don't decide who our leaders are. We decide who they are going to be, right? All right. So we also, with self-determination, we decide what education our children will have. We decide who we are. We decide who's black. Let's talk about that real briefly because I'm not going to detail about it. But self-determination says who's black. In America, we have come to this conclusion of one drop of black makes you dark. Where did you get that from? Who taught you that? Slavery, white master taught you that. And you repeated white master's words. Now, do you have the balls or the nerves to say, or the temerity to say, I don't believe that. I'm going to question your idea. I'm going to question your conditioning. Why would you teach me that? Because it's certainly you didn't teach me that to help me. You taught me that to hurt me, for sure. And of course, that's the reason why they taught you. It creates more division when people teach you. You think you're being more empowered. You say, oh, we got more people who are considered black. No, you also has got more opposition, more exploitation. You got more people who will take advantage of you. You can't have an open door. In fact, if you look at successful cultures, they don't have open doors. You can't be an open door and successful. You're like the garbage. The garbage is the garbage because it's common and it's an open door. Okay? That's the truth. You can't be a common person and think that you're going to be a celebrity of any sort. You're not. You got to have something special about you, right? And I'm not saying we shouldn't consider these people black, but what is your basis for considering them black and excluding what white master taught you? Well, when you take one black and you put it in, black is dominant. Black is dominant theory doesn't apply to that. That applies to the actual hair color of black. It crosses out the whiteness or any other, and the offspring comes out with the same blackness as the parent. No mixed child comes out as black as their black parent. That theory doesn't apply. I don't know why people don't look it up. If they don't believe me, go look it up. I'm not saying they're not black, but I'm just saying what is black people's standard? What do you want the standard to be of who's black and who's not? I mean, what I'm saying is black people, you make that determination. You don't let other people make that determination for you. You definitely don't let some white slave masters in the 1800s decide that for you. So stop repeating that one drop of black makes you black. That's nonsense. At first, it doesn't even make any sense. Go put a bean in some milk and see if it turns black. Bet you it won't. Yeah, so your theory is going out. It's not even a theory, right? It's more of a speculation. So what I'm saying with self-determination is that we define who we are. We define who's black. We define what we like, what our standards are, who our leaders are. Stop allowing others to do it. Real quickly, because I'll go on and on. I'll talk forever. Listen. After that, what Malcolm X represents self-determination. Notice he didn't allow people to tell him, you know what, here's the saying. Don't allow your Malcolm Little to hold back your Malcolm X. Okay? Don't let your Malcolm Little hold back your Malcolm X. Yeah, you may make some mistakes while you're Malcolm Little. Did some silly things, inappropriate things, improper things, right? Some childish things, amateur things. But that doesn't mean you can't be great. Does that mean you can't be Malcolm X now? No, you can turn yourself around, but it takes self-determination to do that. You got to choose that. You got to determine that that's what I'm going to do. That's why he represents self-determination in the culture calendar. After him, we have Rebecca Crumpler Davis. You probably never heard of her, and you're probably I'm probably born the hell out of you. But hold on, let me just talk for a moment.
I ain't never heard of her.
Rebecca Crumpler Davis. Rebecca Crumpler Davis is important. And the reason why she's important is because Rebecca Crumpler Davis was the first Black woman to receive a medical doctorate degree in the United States of America. And she did it and graduated during the Civil War. She had to deal with racism. She had to deal with sexism. She dealt with it all. She did it for Black women because Black women were dying. Let me tell you what she said was really interesting. By the way, she was the only a female doctor who wrote a book in the 1800s, I believe. So she's easy to find. You can find her book. She's the one who wrote a book. She's a Black woman. The interesting thing about Rebecca Crumpler Davis is this. She said the men of my fine race care more about their horses than they do about their health. Is she not correct today?
Hey.
These men care more about the goddamn cars than they care about their health. Try to get them to go to a doctor is like pulling teeth. Right? Okay. Yeah. So, this woman, what is that, 200 years ago? Basically, she's almost, not 200 years, over 150 years or so, give or take. She said this, and it still is happening. Where did Angie go? Where did Tia go? They went.
They listening. Angie, y'all there?
Y'all here? Hello?
Well, I'm here.
I'm here. I had a bus turn. I'm here.
What you got to say, Angie? Tia?
I'm listening.
All right. Well, I'm talking about Rebecca Crumpler Davis. She's really important. And let me tell you something, the culture calendar. Rebecca Crumpler Davis represents not health, but wellness. What we're doing here is we're talking about we need to not only take care of our physical health, but also our psychological health. Now, of course, I'm born March 1st, right? So I'm a bit spiritual. I don't know if you all are, but I am. And so I believe firmly that you got to take care of not only your physical health, you got to take care of your mental health, because there's certain elements that are around you that can actually impact your physical health. So I'm really so I believe in counseling. I believe in psychiatry. I believe in sociology. I believe in wellness. I believe in spirituality. I believe people should take care of their mental existence as well as their heart and lungs and kidneys and all the rest of it. So she represents wellness. Real quickly, I'm moving fast quickly. The next person after Rebecca Crumpler Davis is Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman is the last person on the list. Harriet Tubman represents two things: preservation and unity. Now, she doesn't represent, she's really important when she talk about unity in the culture calendar, because she didn't wait to unify with all Black people. When she came and she did the Underground Railroad, she basically tell people, song and everything, you want to get on the train? And if people didn't want to go, I don't know, she didn't fool with you. And that's one of the things Black people have to understand. You may help other Black folks, but if they don't want to be helped and they don't want to unite, don't fool with them. Leave them right where they stand. That's what you do. And that's what Harriet did. So Harriet also represents, and once she got to freedom, what did Harriet say? She says, you know what? My mom's not here. My dad's not here. My family. She says, I'm the only person here. She says she's going back to get her people. And that's why she initially started going and making these trips. She went back to get her people. That's Black people's responsibility. It doesn't matter how high you get. You must come and go and get your people. Period. End of story. You elevate them too. And that really is a protection for you. So that's the culture calendar in a nutshell. It gets more involved and more in depth, but basically what we want to do is we want some type of standards back in our culture. And notice I call us a culture. We're not a community. You know, Black people have been on this earth for over 300,000 years. Black people are now this is a fact, you can go Google it. Factually, Black people are the first people on this planet. That's a fact. Factually, all people come from Black people. Fact. These are genetic facts. Okay? Now, Black people were on this earth for 200,000 years. No other descendant from Black people existed. The last 100,000 years, Black people have allowed our descendants to dominate us. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem. We've gotten so lax, so laid back that we've allowed people who we've led forever, who come from us, to tell and dictate things to us. So that's what the culture calendar about. I'm just wondering, you get any questions?
No.
Hello? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, you don't have any questions?
Yeah, what about the I heard I was talking to a white boy here, and he said like we got the underground railroad tunnels here underneath Indiana.
Well, let me just say this. The Underground Railroad weren't actually underground, okay? The Underground Railroad, it's a metaphor, right?
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. They're not, it's not a railroad. It's not
I
underground.
know it's not a railroad, but I thought it was like an underground, like
a passageway or something?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so posting. Actually, he was trying to be funny. We do got underground tunnels.
Where the underground tunnels, Tia?
Where the underground tunnels are at? The underground tunnels is where the city county building is at. That leads you to the jail. That's where the underground tunnels used to be at. And I think he was just trying to be funny. That's what I'm.
No. I'm not trying to be funny. I know that there were places.
No, he's talking about the white boy.
The white boy to Poston was trying to be funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there are underground tunnels now in Indianapolis, but that's when they used to tote the jailmates from the city county building.
Right.
So he was just trying to be funny, Poston.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there are some underground places, but they're not like tunnels in the sense that this is where we went and we all were underground. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? It's not really. It's not even a tunnel. It's mostly a metaphor. But were there some places we went underground to the safety? Sure, absolutely. But there were. Who's gonna dig those tunnels anyway? but the thing is that generally they did. It was a metaphor, and it wasn't a railroad at all. It was, and it's something. One of the mistakes about the Underground Railroad is people think it was just one way. No, there were the Underground Railroad went everywhere, even to Florida. It went all different ways. Everybody think they only went up north. No, they didn't. They went west, east. They went. Go look at the map, and you'll see that the underground is it's a metaphor. It's supposed to be secret. It's a secret. When you usually go at night. You don't have to, but usually they went at night. Not all the time. It's a secret passage that you go to gain access to freedom. That's really what it did. Harriet. So Harriet was brilliant, though. One of the things I like about her as a Black woman, she also taught another thing that you don't let people in your group threaten the freedom of all of the people in your group. She made it clear she would kill somebody. Do I think she would have killed? Absolutely. No doubt in my shooter. She'd killed, blew him away. She should have.
She looked like it too, boy.
Oh, she didn't play. I mean, this woman had a hard life. She's not trying to play with you. I mean, when she says yes, it's yes, and no is no. Black women used to have that attitude, especially like mama, they're born in the 30s and stuff. They had that attitude when they said yes is yes, no is no, and they didn't play with you. That's just it. They just said, they didn't screw all that screaming and yelling, all that old nonsense. No, they slapped the hell out of you. And you got the message. They didn't do all that drama. But and that's the type of person I think Harriet was. She just didn't play with you. And you knew she loved you because she cared for you. She did for you, but she didn't play with you. But that's what Harriet stands for. She stands for unity and preservation. Preserve your culture. Don't allow vulture cultures come in, all right? Don't let them come. Like that little person, I won't say his name. He's on YouTube all the time. He thinks he's married to a black woman. That gives him access to be in black culture. Please, you can have her, and you can take your behind on with her and get out. We see all these vulture cultures coming to exploit black culture.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I won't even say his name because I don't want the publicity. But the point is we get too many vulture cultures who come here and they really trying to exploit black culture. They're never going to be part of black culture.
They can't.
Let me tell you something. I got a new, and you don't steal it, okay? I got a name for black people, okay, all throughout the world. We always call ourselves family, and I said, why don't we call ourselves first family? Because that's what we are. We're the first family. We're first family. Period. End of story. And when everybody can be part of that. I don't care who you marry. You marry a white person. That white person never part of the first family. You never part of the first family. We're first family. You're not. You can never be. You can't marry to first family. You can be part of it. Your kids, there's question mark if all black people accept them. So my thing is this: black people, we're all throughout the world, wherever we are. We're part of first family. We're first family. And I think you should introduce yourself to each other as first family, saying we are the first. And what you're telling the rest of these people, you're never going to be part of first family. We're something special. We started it all. Anyway, who's got some questions? Because I'm going to go into another topic I want to go into.
Go to the next topic because I was about to ask about something else, but you go
ahead. What's the question?
Come
on.
Go ahead,
where do Sojourner Truth plays in this?
Well, Sojourner Truth isn't in the culture calendar. Ain't I a Woman? Yes, she's very famous for giving that speech. Ain't I a Woman? Sojourner Truth. Now, she's really fascinating. Sojourner Truth, of course, is a bit before Harriet Tubman. Now, that's one of the major reasons why people like Sojourner Truth is because she gave the Ain't I a Woman a speech. Now, let me just say this about Sojourner Truth because this is really, really important. Why does she give this speech? Why does Sojourner Truth give this famous speech, Ain't I a Woman? Because white women don't really include black women in feminism. Feminism in America primarily begins with black people. Did you know that? You don't believe me, do you?
Yeah, but can you break that down? You got to break that down so we can understand.
Feminism, Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass, and many of the famous black people back there were already talking about women's rights. Way before many of these white women got the nerves to talk about it. Right. Okay? So they're advocating it way before these white women. And why don't white women advocate women's rights? Let me tell you the reason why they don't really advocate it so strongly. Because 40% of all black slaves were owned by white women. 40% of all black slaves were owned by white women. They have never been your friend. They've never been your ally, and they're not your friend nor ally today. They're exploiting you. Okay? Affirmative action did not benefit black people mostly at all. Affirmative action benefited white women. Okay? It benefited white women more than it benefited all black people, black, brown, whatever you call brown, what that means, or any people so-called of color combined. White women are biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action, and they were not to be the biggest. They were not even to be a beneficiary at all. Okay, all right. So when we talk about Sojourner Truth, she's really famous mostly because she comes really early. And not only is she talking about she's not only talking about the fact that the journey Black people go through. She's also talking about holding. You're talking about we need to talk about women's issues too. What about women's rights? That's what she's so famous for. But you know, she was born into slavery in New York. She was born into slavery in New York. Do you all know why Wall Street is called Wall Street? I'm gonna let you all find these things out. You all need to do the research on it. I'm gonna let you all do. Why is Wall Street called Wall Street? And because you were talking about New York, and I think that's really important that we talk about New York and understand what the name Wall Street comes from and what they're trying to do. You know, I was telling a friend of mine, and he didn't even know this. He said Chicago is doing poorly. I said, yeah, Chicago is doing poorly. I said, but you know who founded Chicago, don't you? And he says, no. I said, you know, it's a Black man who founded Chicago. He said, no way. I said, yes, DeSambo is his name. He founded Chicago. He goes and do the research and said, well, I'll be damned. You're right. I never knew that a black man founded Chicago, Illinois. How do I feel about Jane Elliott? I don't fool with Jane Elliott. See, what did I tell you about culture vote? What Harriet, the principal Harriet, okay? The principal Harriet Tubman. That's good, Jay Elliott, that you support us. You did wonderful things in the 1950s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. You're a great teacher. Thank you. But she said something really interesting one day. See, I don't really trust people like her.
I gotta look her up.
She said, Black people said, well, Jane, Ms. Elliott, what do you think about reparations for Black people? She said, well, this is where Black people I'm going to lose a lot of people. A lot of people get upset with me about this. Well, we need to first talk about reparations for the Native Americans. That was the question. The question is about African Americans. But since we like to talk about the Native Americans, they owe reparations too. Black Africans owe reparations. Europeans owe Black people in America reparations. And Native Americans do too. Native Americans almost enslaved Black people almost at the same rate these white people did. Shh. Go look up the 5 civilized tribes if you think I'm lying. Go look them up. 5 civilized tribes. When they talk about the Taylor tears, what they don't tell you is that the Native Americans had over 5,000 Black African slaves serving them.
Damn.
Yeah, they don't talk about that, do they? Native Americans have been dogs to Black people. Let's be honest. If you don't believe me, I want you to go Google this. Google Smithsonian Institute, the government, okay? Native American enslavement of Black African people, and tell me what you find. You're going to say, well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. These people were after us too. That's right. When Harriet when she ran from her capture, guess what? She had to run from the Sambo Pickaninny Negro. Lordy have mercy now. Who missed the mass and missing? They's running. You still got those Pickaninny Negro Sambos around. They're always ready to tell.
Always.
Everybody just what. Isn't that something? Everybody wanted to be a Native American. I got Indian. I wouldn't tell anybody.
Everybody say that shit.
Yeah. Like, I got Indian. Shut up. Don't tell anybody. You talking to the first family. Black folks. That's the last thing you want to tell them. How much of a non-first family you are.
Blackfoot, Cherokee, all this shit.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the last thing you want to tell the first family is how non-first family you are. I mean, you don't want to say that. Shut your damn mouth. Well, it's true. Well, take your ass over to the Native Americans because they're not going to give you any land. You're not going to be able to live on the reservation. And by the way, they don't even like black people that well. In fact, go over there. They don't give. They don't. If you say you're too black, they're not giving you anything. Okay, go see it.
Off the land.
They're not giving you land. They're not giving you any proceeds to the casino. They're not giving you a goddamn thing, Negro, or half Negro, partial Negro. No, it's the truth. I'm telling you the truth about these people. See, everybody wants to look down upon black people, the first family. And as long as we're very accepting, it's easy to do. But the moment we close ranks, it's difficult to look down upon me because I'm looking down on you. Okay? No longer are we, and stop this old doctor. Listen, I need to talk about Dr. See, I can give a whole goddamn lecture about Dr. King. He's brilliant, believe it or not. He's not Uncle Tom.
At first, I thought he was Uncle Tom.
Oh no!
Until I started getting information, and then I talked to you. I'm like, damn, I didn't.
No, Dr. King is a beast. He's like Booker T. Washington. You know, Booker T. Washington would say things like when Madison J. Walker would get so pissed off with Booker T. Washington because they'd be in public places and Madison J. Walker and all the blacks at the time of we want this right and that's right and this right, and here comes Booker T. Washington. Well, we don't want any rights. White people, you can have all the rights. We don't want any Negroes. We just Negroes. We don't want anything. Boy, Madam C.J. Walker and a bunch of her friends would go off. They would just have a fit. What is wrong with this Negro here? I think it was W.E.B. Du Bois too was so pissed off. And what is wrong with Booker T. Washington? Booker T. Washington's older than both of them. But they would get so pissed off. But listen, what they didn't know was Booker T. Washington was teaching at Tuskegee University, okay? And he was taking his money and doing two things. He was bringing over black Africans, right? Educating them. And then he said, you go back home with this new technology and you empower your people.
Dang, like this.
He would send them back to Africa. Secondly, he was secretly creating black businesses. He was trying his best to get every black business up. Rise. You got to create your business if you, in fact, plan to take over. Now, when they found out he was secretly really doing this to empower blacks, what did they say? They lied and said he tried to rape some white girl. I forgot, or some nonsense. Some nonsense. They got rid of, you know, that's what they do. But they got rid of him. But Booker T. Washington was a beast. Let me tell you something. The only reason black Africans, black Haitians, or black anybody is able to come to this country is because of Booker T. Washington. Now, you probably think I'm lying. You're going to say you're lying. I'm going to research. Goddamn, you better research that, because let me tell you something. He was the main man that any of these black Nigerians, black Haitians, black Jamaicans, I don't give a damn what blackness you are, the only reason you're able to come to the United States is because of Booker T. Washington and the Panama Canal. During the Panama Canal, they had black people and then the so-called Native Americans. That's another discussion. But anyway, Native Americans built the Panama Canal, which is, of course, man-made, right? So, because white people can't stand out in the sun like that. So they had black people, brown people build it. And they created laws in the United States, specifically said once the canal is done, these people must be expelled from the United States, and no person of African heritage was allowed to ever immigrate to the United States. Ever. Who stopped that? Booker T. Washington. And the Tuskegee political machine stopped that. Booker T. Washington, because he gave such deference to white people, they listened to him like he was their pet. And we don't really believe that. We don't ask for much, but we should have some support for having these people who've been mistreated come to the country. Blah blah blah. They won't be problems. Blah blah. I mean, he's petitioning the legislators, the president of the United States, to make sure that black people who are not in America are given the opportunity to come to this country. So goddamn right, every black African or black Jamaican or anybody else They absolutely owe a debt to Booker T. Washington to even be here. Because without Booker T. Washington, they could not be here. They specifically told not to be allowed to be into this country. And that's where the country was going during that time.
1900s, right?
When was that? I have to look that up. The Panama, when was the Panama Canal completed?
I don't know.
It's during that era, that time when the Panama. Now I want you all to look up everything, call me, and try to say, you know what, Mr. We found some information that you weren't really right on here. This is, and please have actual sources. You got to remember, I'm going to college. I look at primary sources. I really don't give a damn about secondary sources. I mean, because anybody can write a webpage. We want to go to sources where people are able to, question and review and question and review and look at and review and question and review and prove and disprove. See, people need to understand scientific method. That's something else I think Black people need to understand is science, because we were the leaders in science, and we lost that now. We don't even know what theory means in science. Theory doesn't mean it doesn't mean a guess in science. Theory does not mean yes in science. Theory does not mean guess. I had to say it a couple times because people think theory means guess in science. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. A hypothesis means a guess in science. That's your guess right there. Okay? That's your hypothesis. After your hypothesis is your law. The law just tells you what happens. Then, oh, by the way, okay, a large mass will attract smaller mass. That's true, by the way. We can prove that. You're not sliding off Earth to space, are you? Okay. All right. So we know that's true. And if you don't believe it, jump off a building and the Earth will pull you to it and splatter you. That is okay. Prove it. We know that works. Law of gravity. So what is a theory? A theory in science is a law plus a why. It tells you what will happen like the law, and it tells you this is when you win awards. You become an Einstein. It tells you why. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? Why does gravity happen the way that it does? Albert Einstein said we live at the fabric of space, right? It's like putting a bowling ball in the middle of your bed, right? The middle of your bed, a big bowling ball will start making a dent in your bed. And he's saying the sun is like that. And the sheet that you got on is like the fabric of space. So naturally, things starts going toward that bigger mass. And because of the speed, it doesn't always fall into the bigger mass. And that's true. The only reason why we don't fall into the sun is because of our speed and our rotation. No, theories not like that. Not in science. Theories are basically facts when you talk about in science, okay? When you talk about science, think of theories as facts, okay? Because that's the closest thing you're going to get to a pure fact, right? You can't get any higher than a theory. When anybody gets into a theory and they're proved, and another thing about theories are tested millions of times. They're tested over and over and over and over and over and over, and they keep coming out the same. You can test a theory 1,000,000 times and the result will come out the same. The result, and by the way, they pretty much proved that fabric of space with Einstein when they saw that there was a solar eclipse. Light was bent by mass. We didn't know light could bend. And it was bent. It bent with mass. Science, Einstein proven. The theory of gravity, theory of relativity. And I don't care if you test it today. Guess what? Same thing's going to happen over and over and over and over. You can test it 1,000,000,000 times. It's going to come out the same. So what we would say in ordinary language, we'd call it a fact. In science, they call it a theory. Don't be confused. Don't be confused. Why do they call it a theory? Because they don't think they know for sure if this is the case throughout the entire universe. because they've not been throughout the entire universe. They just know what they can observe and what they have here. Hell, we might go to a parallel universe and everything's the inverse. Listen, we might go to a parallel universe and just everything is just the opposite of what we thought.
Opposite.
Just complete outright. Now, spiritual people, you understand what I'm talking about. He gets what I'm talking about because his mind bends that way. He can bend so many ways. Now, the interesting thing about science is that they don't claim to know everything there is to know about a particular phenomenon. So whenever you think about a theory, when scientists start talking about a theory, they're talking about something they've already tested a million trillion times. It comes out the same. And they're not talking about guesses at all. Okay, so understand what a theory is. I hear that a lot from my people talking about, a theory is just a guess. No, it's not. Not science, it's not a guess. Just like when you talk about music theory, it's not a guess. It's not music guessing. A C is a C. A D is a D. D major is going to include F sharp, C sharp. E flat major is going to include B sharp, E sharp, and A flat. No, I'm sorry, B flat, E flat, and A flat. There's no guessing to that. It's just how the structure is, right? When we talk about minor scales, I'm not going to go into music, by the way. But I'm just saying, when we talk about minor scale, it's always going to be the third that's going down a half step. So anyway, who got some questions around here?
Hey, the one touch on the Chinese thing again.
Which one? Chinese.
Yeah, about the business in their community.
You know, there was a YouTube video. Have you ever wondered why there are so many Asians and people, and a lot of the Arabs are Asians too, but Arab is a culture, okay? Just like when people talk about Hispanic and they talk about Latino, those are not races of people. Those are cultures. And let me tell you what it only means. It just means your first language is Spanish. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean anything else. Your surname is Spanish by the white Spaniards, and your first language is Spanish. You could be a black Latino. You could be a black Hispanic. It makes no sense to say black, whites, and then as a separate group, Hispanics. That makes utterly no sense. Because those Hispanics include black people too. They include white people too. The original Hispanics are white Spaniards. Okay? All right. And so a lot of these Native Americans have abandoned their own culture, their own greatness, their Aztecs, their Incas, and all that, and they identify with their white slave master. And it's true. They'll talk about, I'm Spanish. No, actually, you're not. Calling yourself Spanish is like black people calling ourselves Anglo-Saxon. This makes no sense. I had to teach them this. And then once I teach them that, they're like, you're right. You come from greatness. Why are you calling yourself after your white slave master? Your white Spanish. Okay, but then, by the way, that word Hispanic Latino didn't come into lexicon until around the 1970s. It's a really relatively new word anyway. But when I talk about the Arabs, same thing. Arab is a culture. Your first language is Arabic. You could be any race and be an Arab. Okay? Now, when I talk about the Asians, I'm talking about a lot of the Arabs too. Okay? You wonder why a lot of these Asians have gone into black neighborhoods and why they're able to put up stores. It's easy. They'll tell you, some of the Asians will tell you the truth. When the Asians go and get loans from the banks, the bankers intentionally will not give them loans to place businesses in white neighborhoods. But they can get loans to place businesses in black neighborhoods. Now, these same Asians take their credit and all their assets and put a black person in there, and that black person will go in there and say, I want to put in a business in my community, my neighborhood. These banks will discriminate against black people. Black people and black communities are under attack. What they're doing is taking all the economics out of the black community. And as long as they got to take the economics out of your community, you lose. Most Asians aren't thrilled about black people. In fact, China's very racist against blacks.
I always want to go there.
China's very racist. I used to be a big fan of watching Chinese kung fu movies.
Mm-hmm.
5 deadly venoms and all this crazy stuff.
Drunken
and
master.
Kid with the golden arm and all that. Now, I'm not saying that each Chinese person is a racist, but generally speaking, they're very racist against blacks. You got to remember, the world wants to trash certain people, and they've chosen black people to do it. And then we make it easy to be trashed, right? We talk of the women, fuck the woman, she's a bitch and all that. What if a man goes out of his way to trash his own woman? What man does that? Already, you told us not only should we not respect you, not respect your black women, we shouldn't respect you either. Mm-hmm. And if they turn on us, black people, we don't have the power. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We don't have the resets, the assets. We don't have the education. We haven't prepared ourselves.
So why are I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, T.
So why are we the culture that is so easily to turn our back on each other?
Well, Tia, then we're gonna have to go first in class, Tia, because that's what I talked about. We do that because we don't have any core values and morals. We don't have these core values anymore that we used to have. That's why I was talking to you about the African American culture calendar.
Gotcha.
All right, now we're gonna need you to write down, Tia. You're gonna have to quit driving now. We're gonna take some notes here.
Look, I just say that? I said, you know what? See, he make me want to just pull on over and just call it a night and break out my pen and my piece of paper, like on a real note, like seriously. Cause I'm missing some stuff, and I'm feeling some type of way.
I told my cousin, I said, "Let me tell you something. You know, I used to teach college, right?" And I said, when I was 26, I started teaching college. That was my first job after law school, was to teach college, right? And I said, I don't think I want to do that. And I enjoyed it. It was exhausting, but I actually enjoyed it. And I said, at this age, I don't think I want to teach undergrad anymore. People to get bachelor's, I want to teach master's levels, And I said, I hope I don't say crazy stuff. These people get bored because after master's level, only people you really entertain are people who are really interested in the subject matter. Because that's what I was thinking about that myself. So I said, I hope I don't bore these. I'm bored. But let me talk about this Asians for a moment. Now, the original Asians are black people. You think I'm lying? I know you think I'm lying to you. They probably think I'm lying. Go Google it. The first people in Asia are black people. Remember, we're the first family. Everybody comes from us. Okay? The original people were in Asia are black folks. The original people in Europe are black people. Why did their skin change? Because of the environment. You need vitamin D. You get vitamin D from the sun. And they don't have that much sun up there. So guess what? Your skin gets lighter and lighter to capture vitamin D. And that's why I keep telling people, if your kid comes out with any other eye color than brown, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You really are in trouble. You don't want your child to have any other eye color than brown. I was telling a friend of mine, I said, listen, if you were a tiger and you had gray eyes and blue eyes and all that in jungle, you'll never, no woman, I didn't say it, I was a bit more vulgar, but I said, no woman's going to ever want to mate with you. No tigress is ever going to mate with you. That's a genetic flaw. Okay? Why? Because brown in your eyes absorbs the dangerous sun's rays mostly before it hits your retina. It absorbs. When you don't have that brown, the sun's rays are attacking your retina. And that's why people who have non-brown eyes tend to go blind sooner, right? Have you ever seen people gray eyes and brown, in non-brown eyed person, always squinting, even when the sun's not out? They're squinting. They're constantly squinting. because you can't feel the sun's rays like them because you're being protected. Yeah, but they can. They're sensitive to it, right? And they're sensitive to light. Like you turn on the lights, they start squinting. Oh no, Lord! They can't really take a lot of light. But back to Asia. So your eyes start turning different colors. Your skin start turning a different color, right? And because of the function of environment. And these are facts. We can prove these. This is nothing guess. And so that's why you got the people that you have there today. They are descendants, migrants. I mean, well, let me just say, I'm not going to say mutants, but I did say it, didn't I? They are people who have descended from Black people.
So what are they like? What are they? Mexican? What are Chinese people? What are they mixed with?
Chinese is not a race either.
I mean, what? Mexican and something.
Chinese is not a race, although they just like they don't have a language either. People always say, "Oh, the Chinese language." There's no such thing as Chinese language. I mean, it is in the sense that there are Chinese languages proper, but there's no such thing as a Chinese language in the sense that anybody speaks Chinese. Nobody speaks Chinese. Because Chinese is not a language. Okay? They speak Cantonese, right? Mandarin, okay? They don't speak Chinese. Don't ever go to a Chinese person and say, "Could you speak Chinese for me?" They don't look good. You damn idiot. There's no language called Chinese. We speak either Mandarin or Cantonese or some other language, but those are the two main languages the Chinese people speak.
That's what everybody says.
Huh?
That's what everybody say. You speaking Chinese?
Yeah, you speak Chinese. You idiot! There is no such thing as a Chinese language. If you don't believe it, go Google it. They don't speak Chinese. There's no such thing. But the Japanese speak Japanese, right? Koreans speak Korean, but Chinese don't. They don't speak Chinese. They speak Cantonese, Mandarin. You know what's really interesting is the Japanese and the Korean and all that probably and the Cambodians and all that they probably come from more closely. They come from the Chinese. I mean, Chinese they all come from Black people ultimately, but those Japanese and all this probably are more or sooner descendants of the people who are in China. But Chinese, it's kind of like Black people talking about, "I'm half Chinese." How the hell can you be half Chinese?
Who said that?
How's that possible? Chinese is a nationality. You can't be half Chinese. You can't be half Japanese. You can't be half German. You can't be half French. There's no such blood type called French. Anybody's French if you're born in France. Okay? That means if you have two Black people who have a child in France, they're French. You can't be half French. Either you're French or you're not. Okay? Yeah, I hear people say that all the time. Do you hear people saying I'm half American?
No.
I'm half American. That sounds stupid, doesn't it?
Black American.
Okay, you're Black American. Okay, Black is a race. I get it. You're Black French. Black. Okay, I get it. But you can't be half French. You can't be half German. That's not possible. Those are names of people who live in a particular region.
Or a Black Jew.
You can't, Black Jew, you can be a Black Jew because you can be Black and Jewish. The original Jews are Blacks. Oh, I should talk one day about, you should have me on the show so I can talk about the damn Israelites, the Bible. Ooh, boy. They are a piece of work. Boy, I piss off all the Christians. They probably never about the culture calendar when I'm done talking about them. But and anything I say, just look up and prove me wrong. Because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Say, hey, Mr. D, we didn't find that. You're wrong about this. You said this, we were wrong about that. Okay, fine. Maybe we can educate each other. But as far as the Asians are concerned, they're typically very racist against Black people. Okay, not all of them. I think some of them are coming out of that bigotry, which is a good thing. But many of them come to the United States and they don't see a culture that's defined that they can understand. And a lot of the nasty things they say about white people. Now, one of the things you got to understand, a lot of things they say about Black people is because of white people. One of the things you understand about Asians is this. Put a store in an Asian community. and tell me if they shop from you. Let me help you out. They're not. They're not shopping from your black man. You understand? They're not shopping from you. They understand something that's really important, and that is cooperative economics. What they're going to do typically is skip your store and go find another Asian to shop in. You understand? How many Asians in their fingernails and your hair salons, all you white black women go to, how many of them buy anything from a black-owned store? If they had a black-owned store that right next to them that sold, I don't know, rice that the Asians usually love, do you think that most Asians will go next door and eat? Bet you they won't. They do something black women you don't do. You don't put your people first because you give these people all your damn money. And they will never give you all their money. And so when, half of the reason, and it's just not black women, black men do. Go look at black men. First thing to get all these cars and to get from the Asians, all these other groups of people. And then when something goes down in the black community of black police brutality, first thing we scream is, oh, they're beating us, they're mistreating us. Well, that's true. I agree. But let me ask you this. Had you built your own businesses, chosen your own mayor, the mayor you control chooses the police officers, do you think really that these cops would pull this stunt if you had their life in your hands? Do you really think they'd pull that stunt? Bet you they wouldn't.
You picking them.
No, they wouldn't pull it. But see, you own nothing in your community. Everybody outside your community owns your stores and owns everything, your mayor, your police. So police figures they don't have to respect you. What are you going to do? Are you going to scream and tear up your community? That's generally their attitude. So see, if you build up your community, I guarantee you police brutality is going to go down tremendously because now you are their boss. You run them. They don't run you. Okay? But you got to build up your community. And one of the ways to do it is you're going to have to quit. And I don't know why black women are against creating nail salons. Create nail salons. Your community obviously wants nail salons. Create them. You can do hair salons, don't you?
Because they want to do it in a house and too lazy to take the steps to start a business, and then they talk about that they don't know how to start a business, and then when you get somebody like me who try to teach you how to start the business, you act like you can't even invest $100 in your own damn self just to register your name for your business. I mean, it's a lot that goes involved in this, and to start a business really doesn't cost that much, especially as a nail tech, because you kind of got all of your shit together already. I'm just saying.
Oh, I agree. And that what does that go back to, though, Tia? What does that go back to? Our values.
Yeah, it go back to your values, but I don't know, because I'm about self-made at this point right now. COVID showed me a whole lot. COVID made me self-made, been self-made since COVID happened, baby, and it was the best thing and a blessing at the same time. Because, yeah, I jumped off the edge. I did it. And I've been straight ever since then. And I be trying to get other people to do it. People who I know that have side hustles, side businesses. They too scared to start their own stuff. They want to continue on punching the clock of the white man. Like I keep telling them, you ain't nothing but a body to them. Like, seriously, they don't care. They don't care if you can get sick today. They going to find somebody to place you. You can put 10 years of your life in this company. They don't care. They don't care.
That's right.
Quit putting all of your energy. Quit putting all of your energy into somebody else and start putting it into you. Put your skills into yourself.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's right.
That's right. People that all the time. They be looking at me like I'm crazy. I done start 3 businesses. Come on now with it. A trucking business, a tax business, and a staffing business. Quit playing with me.
Look, she's younger than me. She's ahead of me because I'm still trying. Well, see, I want a cultural revolution. I don't want just a business for me. I want a
And I'm not
culture.
hungry. I spread the love. What is you talking about? I spread the love. You better ask somebody about me. I feel like there's plenty of money out here to eat, especially my people. I definitely spread the love when it comes to my people. If you want to know, I got you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
she helped me out
Like,
on my little thing.
seriously.
Yeah, she
On your business.
Yeah, she showed like we was on the phone for like 3 or 4 hours. She helped me out like this with the links and with it. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, she know it. She know it.
What? By establishing businesses and stuff.
She know it.
Well, what she did was she professed Harriet Tubman, didn't she? You go back and get your people. And if Darnell wants to listen, I'll take him for the ride. But if Darnell doesn't want to listen, I'll leave his ass right where he is. Yeah. I'm not gonna fool with him.
She sure will.
But and that's how I was, and that's exactly what I told him too. But also too, what a lot of people don't want to do is like you keep saying, do the homework. A lot of people don't want to do the homework. Like they want somebody to do. You know, if I'm giving you the information for free, you gonna have to do the work. Now, if I do it, then yes, it's called a consultant fee now. Then you want to get mad because I'm charging you a consultant fee. No, because I was trying to give you the information for free from the beginning, and I just told you what to do. You know what I mean? From A all the way to Z, I told you what to do. Now it's time for you to get on that computer and put your little 2 fingers and get it together. And if you have any questions or any steps, by the way, I will actually physically show you, but I'm not going to do it for you. Let me tell you something. Starting a business is the best thing that you ever can do. Being hands-on in your own business is the best thing you could do instead of having somebody else do it for you. When you're starting off, now when you're starting off, let me just put that out there.
Well, it is reward. It's fulfilling. It is absolutely a lot of work too, boy. A lot of work, a lot of responsibility, but it is gratifying because you are doing it for you. And I agree, absolutely. She's absolutely right. But she's exonerating. She's basically exemplifying a lot of the cultural values that I was talking about, that I think are core to Black people. It's no excuse for Black people not to take her information and move forward and say, you know what? She just gave me some jewels here. If I'm serious about doing what I need to do about mine, I'm going to go on and do it. And then my problem, I have been wanting Black women to have their own nails places. And this is another thing we need to talk about culturally. Stop your ghetto nonsense. Don't keep it real. Keep it polite. I'm not even interested in your reality. I tell people that all the time. I'm keeping it real. That's your reality. I'm not interested in your keeping it real. Just keep it courteous and keep it polite and respectful, and we'll get along fine. My thing is this. I don't need that ghetto-ness talking about we're going to keep it real. Now, when you run a business, you learn to be professional. And so many, I've seen people be like some of these customers when they go to Black people. Can you give me the hookup? Do you go ask that white person to get a hookup? Why would you go to a Black person and ask for a hookup? Because you don't respect other Black people.
Can I
you
get
don't do
that
things
discount?
like
Can I get that? Can I get that? But I've been coming to you for about 2 years now. But can I get that discount? Okay, but you can't do what I told you to do to go get that discount, but you think I'm just a thing. The other thing is, even though you try to sit up there and try to help somebody, everybody can't be on top. And that's what we need to understand. Everybody cannot be on top. For me to make it away from the next person, if I got the sauce and if I'm starting off the sauce too, and then I'm trying to baby step you in and loop you in too, you're just going to have to wait patiently until you can be on my level. We all are not going to be on the same level at the same time as we are moving through our stages of our business.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
That's the thing that people don't understand. You know what
that's
I mean?
not, but it's not possible, right?
Yeah, that's where the jealousy start falling in that you was talking about. Oh, she got more money or he got more money than me, and I'm supposed to be doing this and I'm supposed to be doing that. It's not even really about that. It's not
no,
even
it's not.
about that.
No, it's not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But this is what I always found interesting about jealous people. Listen, if you got a person who's willing to help you, the last thing you should do is envy that person. Because if you want to push them to the highest heights, because once they're done or they don't want to go any further, they're willing most of the time to help you because, again, they're willing to help you. So you basically are destroying your own blessings when you have those negative feelings of jealousy. You're destroying your goddamn self. So you know, and jealous people are dangerous too. Whenever you find a person who's jealous, cut them off because a jealous person will kill you.
ASAP.
They absolutely will kill you. You get rid of them quick, fast, in a hurry because they're very, very dangerous people. They're unstable people. But then there are people like Darnell who really want to learn. And so you always find those types of people, those pros, those wisdoms. Hey, you know what? Good. I found somebody at least who's interested in learning this information. But back to what I was saying. What was I talking about? The Asians? Oh, yeah. I mean, the Asians, again, they don't shop with black people, generally speaking. People say, well, we don't have anything that they want to buy. No, they generally, culturally, choose not to shop with black people, but to prefer their own. That's what they do. And black people need to start doing the same. And when black people do that, a whole lot of other cultures are in trouble because they feed off black people like vampires. We're being exploited big time. We're being abused and used every day. Look, you in politics, you got these stupid, you know, Dr. King says something interesting. I don't know. Let me just say this real quickly. The I Have a Dream speech is not about getting along with other races of people. The I Have a Dream speech is about equal rights. And most importantly, it's about reparations to black people. If you don't believe me, go listen to the speech again. Once you hear that speech again, you'll say, well, I'll be damned, you're right. Because after he's done, then Mahalia Jackson says, hey, Martin, tell him about your dream. He didn't go there to talk about a damn dream. It was Mahalia Jackson who actually prompted him to do it. Now, why am I talking about Dr. King? Because we have Dr. King's holiday. And people are constantly holding hands and we singing over, we shall overcome. These filthy animals, how dare them misinterpret Dr. King? Dr. King that's not what he was talking about with the I Have a Dream speech. Why are you singing we shall overcome and you haven't given black people equal rights and you haven't given black people reparations? Whether you think reparations are forthcoming or not, that's not the point. The point is, why are you even hold hands? You don't do that until they take care of business first. Right? Now, why am I talking about that? Because our black politicians have sold us out. Many of them have sold black people down the damn river. Okay? And that's important to understand. Let me tell you why. Dr. King, before he died, he said we had a big stumbling block that's much bigger than the Ku Klux Klan, much bigger than the racists who call us the N-word. We have our moderate liberals. He's talking about the white Democrats. He says they have been our biggest stumbling block. They have been our biggest problem. That's what Dr. King says. Now, what do these Negroes do when they want to become politically active? Join who? Who do they join? The stumbling block. They join the very group of people that Malcolm and Martin warned us about joining. Both of them warned black people about the Democrat Party. Both of them. And what do these Negroes do and vote for? Democrat Party. And you wonder why the black community is in trash like it is? You wonder? Like I said, prior to the 1980s, you can't find black people slaughtering each other. And one of the reasons why the black family broke up, the major reason, is that the Democrat Party came with this idea that if you want welfare, then guess what, black women? You can't have a man in the house. If you want Section 8 food stamps or anything like that, you can't have a man in the house. And by the way, black woman, you're not getting good jobs, are you? There's not that many jobs out there for you. And you got to feed your kids, don't you? Well, if you want to feed your kids, you're going to have to come to us most likely and pay your rent, right? And by the way, that man has to leave. And so what happened was in the 1980s with the crack epidemic, these women started raising kids by themselves. And that's when you started hearing black women say, I don't need a man. Why? Because the government was paying her bills. They were paying her, giving her food. They were giving her welfare. They were giving her food stamps. They were giving her Section 8. She didn't need a man. The government was doing it all for her. Well, they did this for years, folks. And they kept snapping their fingers out on degrading the man. And so when she was saying that, she didn't understand that her son was listening to her. She was devaluing her son and his father. So she was devaluing them too. Because of the white Democrats, they set up a program to do so. And black women fell for it. Oh, they went in for that, didn't they? Well, guess what? In 1995, Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich made a contract with America and cut these women off. They got cut off 2 kids for life. You can forever. You only have 2 kids. Okay, and they started putting pressure on Section 8. They started looking at your food stamps, and they don't want to give you that either. They said, black women, if you want any of these things, you're going to have to get up. They're not only black women, but anybody. I'm talking about just how it applied to black people. If you want these benefits, you're going to have to get up off your ass and work. That devastated black women. Why? Who's going to watch your children now? Remember, you didn't need the man. Grandma's tired. Grandma's tired. Okay? So grandma started watching them. She's already tired. Grandma's been doing it all along. She's tired. She should be going during her golden years. And you come and dump some kids on her, and your kids are out of goddamn control. Because you, mommy, raise children different than men do. Mommy, you are concerned about children's inner existence and being and how healthy they are and how their feelings about. Men don't. Men don't give a shit, generally. Most men don't. Men tell you pick up those goddamn trash. They don't care if you had a bad day or if you had a headache or your stomach hurt. Most men don't give a shit if your stomach hurts. Well, my stomach, who gives a damn? Pick up the goddamn toys. See, that's generally how men see things. And really, in life, that's how life is. Life doesn't give a shit if you have a headache or your stomach hurts. Get out there and work. Go to job or your ass go hungry. You see, men do things a little different. And women, they start caring if your stomach hurts. And they care if you have a headache and all that. Now the children think that everybody should care like mommy cares about them. And the world doesn't. That's a shock to them. World doesn't care if I have a headache or my stomach hurts. No. And the world will kill you and mommy. Okay? We'll say bye-bye to you by tomorrow. And won't give a shit about them. Forget that you even existed. That's a harsh reality for a lot of these kids. These kids became totally out of control. Mommy's working. Mommy is not there to take care of them. Grandma's tired. And guess what? The boy is particularly going to get out of control. He has no male image there to work with. None. Your son now is out in the streets killing. Not all of them, but he's out there killing. He's doing drugs. What are you going to do now, mommy? You didn't need a man, remember? Well, where's his dad? Don't call for his dad now. See, his dad should have been there from day 1, not day 10, when he got 10 years old. He needed to establish a relationship with his father day 1. Well, what if the man ran away? Oh, really? Hold on. Let me tell you. Wait a minute. You didn't tell me you slept with a man that you didn't know was going to likely stay or not? Because he could always run away. But let me tell you something I learned from law. You know why it's important to get married. I'm going to tell you the reason why it's important to get married. Because it makes it difficult for anybody to run away. Okay? You can physically run all you want. But remember, she has access to your Social Security. She has access to your bank account. She has access to any property you got, your insurance. She's got access to every goddamn thing. She doesn't even have to run after you. But when you don't marry him, you don't have access to a goddamn thing. Not only do you not have access to anything, guess what? If that man dies and you haven't established paternity, your kid doesn't get shit either. Now, why in the hell would you put yourself and your kid in that predicament?
Thinking with the wrong thing.
Messing with the wrong, you think about the wrong thing. It is crucial, it is important that you do marry because it's a contract. You don't have to stay together. You're going to do whatever you want to do. But for the benefit of the kid. And another thing, when you get married, it's a lot more difficult for you to tell this man he can't be around his kids. Now, are there men who don't want to be around their kids? Absolutely. The CDC, yeah. Hello? The CDC, the Center for Disease Control here in Atlanta, they did a study, and they wanted to know the men who spend the least and most time with their children. They did this study, I think, twice. And go Google it. Go Google what I'm about to tell you. The men who spend the most with our kids are African American men. I know that shocks you, doesn't it? I know you probably never heard that before, have you? Because you see all these men supposedly running away, and you see all these men never want to be in their kids' lives. Maybe the mother's a problem. Maybe she's been playing little games. Not necessarily, because this study shows that black men spend the most time with their kids. Why is that? If they're not involved in their kids, like you say, why is it that they're not? Well, guess what? Native American, so-called Hispanic people were white men were the least. White men spend the least amount of time with their kids, period. Okay? That's a fact. Go Google it right now. So you have to ask this question: why are more black men not involved in their kids? Because obviously it's not that these men are not willing to do so. We know why, don't we? We all know why. Some of these men are just trash, okay? And I was telling Darnell, don't ever have a male friend who doesn't take care of his kids. His not taking care of his kids is your business. Because those kids come and stick you up because dad wasn't around and he a friend, that's a problem. So affirmatively never befriend a man who doesn't take care of his kids. But hey, what's going on? Never ever befriend a man who doesn't take care of his child. Ever. Period. In the story. So now you got these kids, these boys out of control, and you want to know another reason the boys are out of control. You want me to tell you another reason the boys are out of control in the 80s and 90s? When I went to high school, we could be barbers, we could be electricians, we can be carpenters, we could be with HVAC, doing HVAC, we could do all these wonderful things. But guess what? They stopped it. The Democrats shut all of that down. Why did the Democrats take all the vocational programming out of the inner cities? It impacted black males mostly. You want to know why they took that out? I'll tell you. Because the unions were complaining. The white-controlled unions were complaining that these black boys were coming out of school in these inner cities and they had more energy, they would work for less, they have no loans on their homes, they have no loans on their cars, they don't have families, they don't have children, they have nothing. Guess who's going to be impacted? Us old fat white men will be out of a job. Hello? You there? Yeah, that's what happened. We will be out of a job. So guess what your Democrats did?
Took this shit out.
Took it all out. And who are you voting for again?
The Democrats. But it's like in school, it's like they programmed us in school.
Right.
To be a Democrat.
Wait a minute, but the Republicans are racist. We know they're racist. We know that. We know they're racist dogs. They don't want to. Let me tell you something about Republicans. Republicans don't like anybody who's poor. They don't even like poor white trailer trash. You think they want to give them anything they don't want to give you? They don't want to give it to them either. And this is how they are. That's just how they are. Their viewpoint is making them earn it, work for it, or die. Their viewpoint is either work or die, and we're not going to help you. And we're going to be pro-business. We're going to crush the employee, which I think the Republicans go way too damn far with capitalism. But they have this master-servant relationship that they want to have. They want to be feudal lords, right? Oh, I'm the boss, and I'm going to break you and make you work like a slave. What do you think prisons are all about today, folks? What do you think they are? Prisons, mass incarceration is the new slavery.
Mm-hmm.
You think I'm lying, don't you? Google it. You'll say,
I know.
that's why they locking up everybody.
They build new prisons. It's like a money thing.
It's a money maker. Why do you think Republicans like private prisons? See, that's the stuff. See, that's the stuff Republicans do. See, they do all this nonsense that they know that these prisons are really wanting these boys to work for little enough. That's why they kept marijuana on the books made it outlaw for so long. They wanted all these petty crimes to stay in the book. Why? So they can get you in prison. And then once you're in prison, guess what? What does the U.S. Supreme Court say? What did the U.S. Supreme Court say? When you are in prison, you generally don't have a right not to work. Generally, you don't have a right not to work. You say, I don't feel like work. You don't have that right not to work. After all, they're providing everything for you. You have no right. So now, if you really don't have a right not to work, although states may recognize that right, certain states may, not all of them necessarily do it, I don't believe. But the point is that places these people almost like slaves. So your new slavery is what? Prisons. What do you think China was all about? Why do you think all the businesses went over to China? Free or a cheap what? Labor. Cheap labor. That's why they went to China. Okay? Now they're going to leave China. China's panicked. They've been going over to Cambodia and Vietnam and all that. But what's the next great continent that they want cheap labor from? Does anybody know?
Is it Africa?
I'll tell you. Africa. Why do you think they've been going over there to Africa? They want the resources and they want the cheap labor. That's why. Anyway, I can go on and on. Anything else that you want to talk about? Ask me about. Where the hell is Angie and Tia?
Angie probably.
I'm here.
Angie probably knocked out. How you feel about the Alabama thing?
I'm here. I'm
all right.
Knocked out, but I'm here.
All right, what's going on, Angie?
Not much. Had a long night last night.
What'd you do?
Chilling.
I worked.
You worked.
I worked at a party on a rooftop.
Oh, did you?
I do a little bartending, a little liquor sampling.
Where you live, by the way?
In Indianapolis.
What rooftop did you have a bartender?
Regions Bank downtown.
Really?
Yeah, they have a rooftop.
I didn't know they had a rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand that place, but go ahead. Anyway.
It's actually nice, the lower roof,
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice little spot.
Oh, black folks were there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they be there.
Really? Real black folks or bougie black folks?
Want to be bougie.
Well, let me see. It started off bougie. Then it turned bougetto.
Bougie.
Now it's just ghetto. But last night, the party that I worked for last night, it was a sponsor. It was a Q Dogs.
Oh, okay.
I seen them dance. I seen a video of them dancing.
They were step dancing.
Yeah. So I work part time. I work part time at a liquor store, and Community Spirits, the old 500 liquors.
Yeah, 500 liquor stores. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's black owned. Yeah.
All of them they call Community Spirits now, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He has like 21 stores, and
I know the owner. I know of him. Yeah, I know of him. When I practiced law, he used to be he went to law school. He used to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him and his fraternity, they put that on. It's a fundraiser. I forget what it's for. I know it's a fundraiser.
Oh wow, that's nice. And so you really
children. But yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Angie. Is you're 50-something years old?
32. 32.
Huh?
32.
You're 32 years old?
Yes.
Well, then you won't know what I'm talking about.
85.
What she said?
She fucking with you.
Oh, okay. Well, 'cause I was wondering, Angie, if you found anything I was talking about was false, or because if it was wrong, it was wrong. Because I covered a lot of material.
No, I mean, when you were talking about, because I was born in the '60s, of course, even though I'm 32,
Okay.
and I was raised in the '70s.
Okay, me too.
So is it like you said? It's totally different now. Unfortunately, my grandparents raised me. I wasn't raised with my mother and father. My
Right.
grandparents raised me, so I was raised in a 2-parent household, structured environment, church, all that. Like you said, and when I look at like you said, the way to me, social media plays a big part in the way that our women and men are now. Our young men and women, they're definitely influenced by social media. They want to be rappers because they want to be I don't know, these Insta models, and it's like parents have gotten away from parenting their children the
I
way
agree.
we parented.
I agree.
Remember, we got the neighborhood ass whooping
Yeah.
because Miss Clay would whoop my ass.
Miss Benson
Down to take me
next
home,
door
and I'm get another whooping.
Yeah.
These parents, they don't want you to say anything to their children. The children talk back. They don't have respect, and all of this stems from the household.
Well, I agree, but I think it even stems something greater than that. The black people. Well, I think that the Democrat Party did a lot of this. They're the ones who instituted the policy. And here's something else black people don't know Democrats did. Go do research, you'll find them correct. Democrats, one, not only helped to break up the black family. See, Republicans, they don't care. They didn't want to give anybody welfare. So they can say, stay together all you want, because I don't want to give any of you, even all-star. That's their mentality. Democrats, I'll give you some money. And Dr. King said, if you institute this welfare policy, you're going to get the man out of the house, and that's going to devastate the black family. And damn it, if these goddamn Democrats didn't move on and go against Dr. King, and look at the result.
You see what Claudine did when the welfare lady came to her house?
Wait a minute. Are you talking about Claudine, the show?
Yes. Remember when a girl named what was his name? James Earl Jones was her main. She admitted he was a trash man.
Right.
And she had all those kids. She's a single mother.
Right.
And the welfare lady came to the house, and they had to put up their toaster. They had to put up their coffee pot. And she asked, "Was there a man in the house?" Because
that's what they did.
Don't get any benefits.
That's what they did. And they imposed that primarily on black people, black women. Yeah. And so black women then had to put black men out the house, and black men became disinterested and disenchanted, and then guess what? Just stayed away. And these women became resentful at him staying away. And she says, well, I don't need a man. And there you go. There you got this road now. Democrats did that. Democrats also they took the vocational programs out of the inner city schools. That impacted black males and black women, but primarily black males, because black males many times just went to high school for the women, one, and also for the skills they got as far as being, carpentry, an HVAC, a barber, what blah blah blah. So when they get out of high school, guess what? They don't have to do drugs or anything. They can go do the trade, a plumber or whatever.
Yes, I graduated from high school in 1985, and I was 100 hours away from completing my beauty license.
There you have it. That's what I'm talking about. I grew up too, where we could actually do those things. Let me take automotive and all types of things. Now, Democrats took that out because it competed with the white unions. The white unions were given hundreds of millions of dollars and told the Democrats to take it out. And so they devastated black boys. Democrats did. Let me tell you else the Democrats did. I want you to research this. Republicans believe firmly to whip your kid's ass. They will tell you your kids get out of line, beat their ass. Bottom line in the story. Democrats came up, don't spank your kids. And if your kids hit you, call 911. Democrats came up with that. Democrats are the ones who did that. Democrats are the ones, and the Republicans came up with this idea: we'll take paddling out of school. Take paddling out of school. Why would they want to do that? Because the studies show you're harming kids. No, that's not the reason why they took it out. The Democrats took it out because they wanted children to be controlled. They want your kids to control you, dictate to you. And the Republicans supported that idea. That way they can sell a bunch of drugs to your children. These pharmaceutical companies can give your children all these medicines to control your kids' behavior because your goddamn kids are out of control. Guess what happened? After 20 years, these kids came out of the government's care and came off with this medicine. Now they're dope fiends. They're pretty much, a lot of them are not functional in society. Democrats did this to black people, to this world. And I'm telling you, I'm no Republicans. You think I'm only on the Democrats' ass, but I'm no Republican. But I know for sure the Democrats, the Dr. King and Malcolm X warned us about that political party, especially them. And damn it, everything they said about that political party is coming true. We gotta have to get rid of them. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, you want me to continue?
This is what I was about to say. Okay, well, Angie's her age, and I'm behind Angie. I was wondering, why did they do that? Because let me tell you the reason why. Okay, I'm a product who went to Ben Davis, where there was the beauty school, there was the barber school, the welding, there was the CNA school, there was this. Same thing at Pipe. It was the beauty school, it was the welding school, it was, all those little extra activities. Okay. When I winded up in Northwest, something went wrong. I don't know what went wrong, but something had went wrong. And I was like, why was they offering these skills at Ben Davis and offering these skills at Pipe, but they wasn't really offering at Northwest?
And that is, you know what? I went to North Central. We had a J. Everett Light Center, but I know growing up in the 80s, when I was in high school, my inner city friends, they had those same programs at Tech. So I'm assuming maybe they stopped them at Tech because they did everything at Tech. Just, like I went to school with some guys. They built 3 houses on the side of North Central.
Yeah, Tech had it going on.
Tech built houses over by Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Tech high school students, they built houses over. The students did it. The students built houses over there by some houses behind on the side of North Central. They Tech had everything we had. They had the beauty school. They had automotive, barbering. Yeah, a lot of these barbers out here my age came through Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if, what happened. Like, I don't know if North Central still offers all that stuff through the J. Everett Light because my son went to Lawrence Central. They didn't have anything like that. But, so they had it, Tia. I'm assuming, like he said, the Democrats start shutting stuff down. And, when they start cutting education and funding, a lot of those programs went out the door.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Probably just certain schools that they pick and choose to do. Pick and choose of where they kept those curricular activities at, because Northwest is a smaller school than
all the Northwest, all those high schools, they went to Tech to take those classes.
Yeah,
they busted. They could take a bus. They had a bus that went, and they went over to Tech. There was a part of Tech they went to. Like my friend, she went to Barbara, but she took beauty school at Tech.
I just thought that was very interesting.
I went to North Central for 2 weeks, and I mostly went to Broad Ripple.
Don't even.
Yeah.
Well, I went to North Central for 3 years. 4 years.
Then I graduated from Arsenal Tech, but I only went to high school for 3 years. Collectively, I stayed out a whole year. So I only went for 3 years. I was kind of, one of those Negroes kind of smart. But let me just say this: it's interesting. Seriously, there's a vast difference between North Central and Broad Ripple. Although I was in arts and stuff, we get treated really well. But for the most part, they didn't have all those programs anymore. And tech certainly didn't have them. I mean, sorry. What is it? No. What's that school on what's that school? Hell, I gotta forget the school I graduated. Arsenal Tech. Greenwood would teach. She taught there. She's the principal.
Arlington.
There you go.
They had shit in Arlington, but
right. Look, I can remember my principal, but I'm a goddamn high school.
Yeah, Miss Greenwood.
Everybody know Miss Greenwood. Now I didn't even go there and I know who Miss Greenwood is.
Jacqueline Greenwood. She's something else.
She is something else.
She did look out for most part. She did some lot of dirty stuff.
I went to whole North Central and I even knew who Miss Greenwood. Everybody knew who Miss Greenwood was.
Yeah, Miss Greenwood. And Miss Greenwood coming to me all the time because she loved the way I wrote. Write something. And man, I don't feel like writing. I don't feel like writing. Speak. I don't feel like speaking either. Oh, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You know, but she was very encouraging. She really was.
Yeah, she was.
She was very encouraging. But I only went to school. I remember whatever it's Arlington. They chose me to SC. There were only certain people in the district could go to this big Indiana University where all the high school students would, certain high school students who were, there was one high school student of each high school who was chosen to go to this big mock, congressional, like we were Congress in Indiana State University, and we would play roles like we were representative. And I was up there as a representative, big time. But I was thinking to myself, should I go into politics, right? But I learned how dirty politics is just from going to that little program. It's kind of dirty, man. It's a grimy thing. You think lawyers are dirty? You think we're dirty? Oh my God, politicians are worse. They're like the grimiest, I think, ever. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Who was talking? Angie?
Uh-huh.
But anyway. Yeah, I can interview you all if you want me to, or I can keep talking. It's up to me. Then you.
I thought he was completing a question for somebody. Answering for somebody.
What she said? What did Angie say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
So are we gonna get a lesson on politics?
I can give you a lesson on politics, so I can talk to you about the House and the Senate and what impeachment it means. And because let me tell you, I don't know why my people don't understand what impeachment means, or they don't understand what an indictment means. Like Donald Trump has been indicted. Woo, big deal.
Yeah, he made bail today for $200,000.
It doesn't mean anything. It's an indictment. Yeah. An indictment is a bail, a bill or no bill. Either the only person's side that's told during the indictment is the prosecutors. You don't get any other side telling any other story. Duh, that's like one of your kids coming and telling you, mommy, so-and-so did this, and you don't listen to the other kid, and you just believe everything your kid tells you. That's an indictment. Seriously. It's that simple. The prosecutor goes to 12 people and say, listen, I'm telling you all of what we think we got on this person. We're not going to let this person speak. This person can't go on. They have no right to this evidence. They have no right to any of this, but just listen to us. And if you think we got something here, then say indictment, bill. If you don't, then no indictment. That's what an indictment is. I bet you didn't know that, did you? You thought indictment was some big thing. It's not. It's no big thing. It's just, and it's a way for the prosecutor to avoid being held personally responsible and accountable during an election. For going after somebody or doing something they had no business doing.
Yo, they slick with it.
They're slick with it. It wasn't me. These 12 jurors said the same. They said it, and I just followed what the jurors said. It's crazy, man. I mean, that really is the truth. That's how an indictment works. And so, I'm going to tell you, well, I'm not going to tell you about what I feel about Donald Trump. Let me just say this. I'm not going to tell you what I feel about Donald Trump, but I'm just going to tell you this. It is hilarious to see these people fight Donald Trump. Both sides. I just find it hilarious. Let them kill each other. Let them keep fighting against each other. I think it's great.
I think it's a waste of people's time, a waste of people's energy. Me personally, I think Donald Trump has too much money, and at this point, it's too powerful for them to even keep on playing with this man. That's just, I just believe that's why I don't like politics, because I believe they get who they really want to get at the end of the day, and I think they're playing with our feelings.
That's all day long.
And I just truly think that's what they're doing.
Well, they can't pick who they want to pick if you understand politics.
Well, it seems like,
I know it may seem like that, but they can't do that. Although it may seem like that's what they're doing, they cannot do that. But as long as they think that you think that that's what they're doing, and you don't come and get engaged, they can keep doing what they're doing.
I guess that is true, but yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much when it comes to Donald Trump. But like I said, I don't know. It seems like when it comes to Donald Trump, it seems like they'll have it in a bag, and then he'll do something that's just like everybody just look the opposite way and forget what the hell he did. That's what it seemed like when it comes to him. I hope I'm in the right lane. Am I in the wrong lane?
Well,
I ain't even been following. I don't even follow.
I haven't been following them in a minute. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, it would be great to have a lesson on law and also politics, because people need to understand how politics. I mean, this is structure. I don't go into I do bash the Democrats only because they mistreated black people. They really did, because black people put our hope into them, and they disabused us. That's all they done. And I'm not saying the other parties are any better, but it's really bad when black people really come to you for help and you take advantage of them. And you keep doing so. Like, for instance, the Democrats don't want your children to have school choice. If your kid goes to a bad school, the Democrats are saying, we don't want your children to be able to go to any school. Because of segregation and because of this and because of that, they don't want your children to have choices. And, of course, the kids who will be left behind are kids no school wants. And
true story. When I went to Pike.
Huh?
I went through that experience when I had went to Pike.
Really?
Yep, because I was so when I had went to Pike, I was a sophomore. I was a sophomore and I was pregnant. So going into my junior year, they didn't want me to be there because they felt like pretty much it was like, look, you are like the only one that's pregnant in this school, and they did not want me there because I was 16. I was 16 and pregnant, and that's how actually I ended up going to Northwest. Is because I couldn't continue at Pike because of that reason. Yeah.
You're bad influence on them township kids.
Yep, I was, because back then in the 90s, Pike was predominantly white. So, Pike was predominantly white back then. Now it's full of niggas like done like that flips. But anyway, but I did actually experience that, so I can understand that in that aspect too. Yeah, definitely.
Well, my thing is, if I think parents should have the right to send their kids pretty much where they want. That's just generally my belief. And but see, they're saying to people that people's choice should be limited, meaning you should be forced to go to this school, that you should not have a right to go to any other school. See, where you could have gone to Pike, or you could have gone to another. I'm sorry. Well, you could have gone to other schools other than you went to. They say, well, they don't want you here. You say, okay, well, I can go to other schools. Yeah, it's a little different. They don't want you to be able to go to other schools. They want to force you to go. I mean, I am being sorry. It was one of them. It was hot as hell. Like Georgia, it seems like it doesn't stop getting hot. Even at night, goddamn, it's hot.
Hot right now. It's hot.
It's hot. What's the temperature up there?
I can't tell you the temperature, but all I know is hot, and I'm ready to go home at this point in my life.
Whoa!
I don't
Good
know.
God!
I'm in AC. I'll be cold all the time.
But see, you got to be there.
It was so hot today, it made you want to stay inside. I guess it's supposed to be like hundreds the next couple of days.
Good God, it's hot. So yeah, I quit eating. Sorry, that's rude. But yeah, it's a little different, you know. They want to say you can't go to this school. Well, Democrats are trying to say you can't go to any school, but the school we tell you want to go to.
Man, I kind of get. I mean, I don't get that, but my daughter went to she went to Tinley last year, and first my stepdaughter, she went there, she graduated, and they had good programs. It was culturally, it was good, and it was just like it was a good school. And then my daughter started going there, everything started changing. They ain't give a fuck how long their hair was. They didn't care what shoes they was wearing. It went messy. And then my daughter got bullied, and then when she got bullied, I ain't never even like, you know what I mean, I don't play that stuff. So I went up there and I asked who it was. I asked the teacher who it was, and I confronted the little girl. And her mom's like, "Hey, I don't do the bullying. We don't do whoever her mom is. We don't do the bullying. We bully. We do the bullying. We don't get bullied." You know how the postings think.
That's why the kids is messed up today.
Yeah, so they go in there. They go in there. My daughter's like a suburban kid, like Pike Township, Washington Township type kid. These kids is 46218, 46226. You know what I mean? They ain't East Side kids, so they a little bit more rougher than my daughter. So one kid was trying to bully her. You know what I mean? So my daughter she don't know how to fight, nothing like that. So I think they ship a lot of the kids to the Tinley school because they got put out of public schools. And so the school can start getting better and better and better. Kids start going there with dreads. Huh?
They rezoned the schools.
Yeah, so it's like Hispanics start going there. White people start going there. First it was all black kids. Then white people start going there. White kids start going there. Hispanic kids start going there. And then people start going there, their pajamas, and I'm like, it's got bad, man. So yeah, people was picking up their kids. I seen a girl dropping her kids off, and she was smoking a blunt, and the windows was rolled up, and the kids, I'm like, the kids got out the car, and it was like, you know what I mean? I rode the side of 38th Street with this woman, and she was smoking a blunt with her kids in the car. And one time, a woman smoked a cigarette with her kids in the car, windows rolled up, and kids in the back seat. I'm like, what in the fuck? But the school my daughter go to now, they got to be there's a lottery. They got to be picked to go to this school, and the school is so. I mean, they got art on the wall, all type of shit. Tinley ain't got nothing. It's like a program. Tinley is crazy, man. That school is crazy.
It's trash. It's trash. Look, that's not down here from black people. Black people, nobody's better than anybody. Listen, when people say you're better than other people, we're not talking about that you flesh upon flesh and blood upon blood, you're better. People are talking about your values. Where we go again. Your values are better than other people. Well, who's to decide that? I am. I think you got better values when you don't let your children go around and think it's okay to bully other kids. If your parents think that it's okay, that if a parent thinks it's okay for the kids to bully other kids, you are low-valued parents to me. Simple as that.
Yep.
Low values.
And the girl was like mixed. She was Mexican and black.
You can't be Mexican and black.
Well, her mother was Mexican. Her father was black.
Okay, so
black.
Was her mother black Mexican? All right.
Black skin.
White Mexican? Anyway, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
She was Native American and she was black. She's really confused, wasn't she? More so.
Yeah, because she said, my daughter was like, she was so like, about her, she didn't want to be a Mexican. It was something my daughter said she she didn't want to identify herself with, and she was just mad at herself, like the little girl. So she had some problems. The little
She
girl
didn't
had
want to
some
be
problems.
half. She didn't want women. She didn't want to be half Mexican.
Yeah, she didn't want that side.
She didn't want to be half Native American.
She didn't want that side.
Well, what somebody should have told her, you all come from black people anyway, so just shut up.
I didn't want to tell
Let's
her
call
that.
Mexican Jesus on this one. Let him be the judge. But yeah, but see, I don't believe in and you might think I'm wrong about this, but I don't want black kids going to school with other people's children. People say that's wrong. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because history shows me black kids all, for the most part, get along with other races of people, even if they never go to school with them. Even if they never go to school with them. Generally, black children will still get along with other races, so-called. Because remember, all these people come from black people anyway. But black people will generally get along with other groups of people. Black people don't need to be sitting next to Jesus. No, not at all. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't want children going, and not because I don't like other groups. I want black children, black people, children have such a rich heritage that we don't know a lot. We have to catch up. We got to catch up with our history and everything. We don't have time to be trying to make the political statements of, oh, we got a little Mexican, a Native American friend sitting next to him, or white. No, we don't have time for that. I need these kids to go to black schools, learn about themselves first and foremost, and only themselves. Now, once they get out of, say, primary school or even secondary, well, once they go to college or what they're going to do, then they can be with everybody else. But I need a strong foundation. And let me tell you what happened, what I'm talking about. You may think I'm wrong, but let me tell you something. This is exactly what rich people do. They send their kids to boarding schools. They don't send their kids to your school, you're with you and your kids. No. And certain ethnicities, they tend to send their kids with too. Another group, Jews, they generally send their kids to Jewish schools. Don't they? Of course they do. Many of the Asians tend to send their kids with Asian schools. Don't they? Yes, they do. Negroes and most whites send their kids to white schools. Negroes, I want to send my kids with everybody. Why is it the most powerful people in this world don't do that? You're about the only few people who will do it. Don't do it. Nothing's wrong with sending your kids to black private schools. Your child will learn things that are out of this world that you like. They would never have learned had they gone to an integrated school. They never would have learned. And look at these historical black colleges and universities. Look, black people, they always talk about how they're doing poorly academically, blah, 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 blah. People love these schools so much that now a lot of your historical black colleges and universities are turning white, meaning they're becoming majority white. Okay? So don't tell me that, these kids can't benefit. And how many people from the HBCU ever comes out, how many black people say, oh, I wish I wouldn't have gone to an HBCU? Almost none. Almost all of them say, oh, it's such an experience like nothing in this world. And it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Because you got to remember, everything's culturally about you. Mm-hmm. You're not used to that. You're used to having to share your heritage with everybody else, and you're the top dog of all heritages, right? Because everybody comes from you. So you are the top dog of all heritages. So, but you only get a small piece of emphasis, right? And you got to share with everybody else, right? And a lot of them get more focused than you do, right? But when you go to HBCU, many times this is tailored toward you.
Yeah,
a lot of it's tailored toward
my
you.
daughter went to Fisk University in Nashville. It was HBCU, and yeah, they gave her confidence. You know what I'm saying? Them schools give you confidence.
Who, your daughter?
And my stepdaughter.
Oh, she did?
Mm-hmm.
Did she like it?
Yeah, she graduated from Fisk. Now she lives in
Right, but she did. She graduated from Fisk University.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her. I bet you. I love to talk. I bet she's not going to tell you. Oh, it was horrible in her.
Nah, she had a good time. Yeah.
She had a good time. It's out of this world. It gives her a different perspective of black people too. That's why I don't want my kids. No, I don't. I wouldn't need a kid of mine if you had it. I wouldn't need them to go be integrated.
My daughter went to a black college school because she got approved for all the schools in Indiana, and I told her no, she needs to go find her. She got to get out of Indiana because she got to get her independence. You know, as a woman, I done did all that I can do for you. You got to get out of the state because you won't be able to get your independence as long as you stay here, because we will be doing everything for you. You know I would. You know your grandmother would. You know your father would. So she ended up she got accepted in Savannah University, North Carolina, A&T, the other school that's down there in North Carolina. She got accepted in Tennessee State, a couple of other colleges and stuff. But she ended up going to North Carolina A&T, and she graduated. She got her bachelor's degree. I'm so proud of her. That little girl right there, that was the daughter that I had at 16. When people told me I wasn't gonna be shit, my daughter wasn't gonna be shit, I was gonna be on welfare the rest of my life, all this negativity stuff, and she went straight through school. She graduated, got her bachelor's degree at the age of 22. May of 2022 was her date that she graduated. Quit playing.
Very good, very good. And let me ask you something.
She did say that she did love going there. She was really, really mad because she was one of the students who went during the pandemic. She really, really was mad because you two love. She really was mad because she couldn't get that experience her college year. But as far as her freshman or her sophomore year goes, she did. She loved it. She loved everything about it. And
yeah, I told you. It's something.
Taught her a whole lot. It taught her a whole lot, like how you said about culture and all of that, and then just different types of black people walking, you know what I mean, just on campus from different walks of life. And then let me tell y'all, the graduation as a mother, that was an experience, a lovely experience. Like, I cried at her graduation because it was just so beautiful to see so many black people, especially engineers that were graduating too. It was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful sight to see. That's all.
Listen, good for you. You deserve it. And let me tell you something. And let me tell you something. The interesting thing is, it's time to go.
No,
okay. The interesting thing is that reaction is what you see from typically of black people. And it's the same thing when kids, I've seen black kids go to private black schools where they care about education. I'm assuming they care. They don't care about education, kids are going to be poorly. But if they care about it, I'm telling you, these black kids just excel. They just excel, and they have a better sense of who they are as black people. You know, because much of what I'm talking about, I sit and listen to them. I would have to listen to this because they probably know much more than, because what I'm talking about is probably old to them. They probably learned all this and more because hell, that's, there's a concentrated effort, but maybe not always. There's a speaker who's talking about in some of these HBCUs, they don't have Black history or requirement to a Black history class. That shocked me. I don't know if that's true or not, but
they have a history class. They just have to choose to take it. It's an elective.
Oh, so it's an elective? Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's like a history. It's like, how you got a history class, and then you pick which history class that you want.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's an elective. It's not something that's mandated. Well,
why don't they make it a requirement though? I'm curious.
I think it'd be a requirement.
I don't know. I know my daughter took it though, so I do know that.
Well, yeah, but that's what I would heard. That's not required. You said you were there. That's why I was hearing that it's not required. And I'm like, that's strange. It's elective. Yeah, I think it should be required.
Somebody asked the question.
What was that to you?
Frankie asked a question in the chat. Did you guys get that?
What did Frankie Foreman go? GLC in Texas, where they really trying to wipe Black history from the books. Yeah. Well, yeah, they were trying to say Black people were not. But let me just say this real quickly, Frankie. Most of the public history, the public schools history books or books that we have that the public schools have come from Texas. Did you know that? There's one place, believe it or not, where they basically do most of the standardizing of our books. Texas, that's a place. You got to remember, Texas is conservative. That's nothing Republicans. They don't like to tell the truth about history either. Republicans don't want to tell the truth about slavery because it makes white people look bad. So they don't want to call Black people saying that Black people were slaves. They want us to say Black people were indentured servants. Now, being an indentured servant, meaning you can pay for your freedom one day, right? And you don't owe me forever. It's a lot different from being a slave. You have nobody. You can't pay yourself unless I say you can pay yourself out of slavery, right? You have no rights, nothing. Period. I own you forever if I want to. It's a total different ballpark. So you're right. In Texas, they're doing it right now. DeSantis is Hispanic. He's a white man who's Hispanic. He's trying to do the same thing. He wants to kind of change history so it doesn't make white people look so bad. You got to remember, Native Americans enslaved Black people. His ancestor is probably white and probably Native American. So that he takes it personal. So they don't want to tell the truth about history at all. Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing in Florida, but I don't want Black people to take that fight on. Don't take it on. Don't take that fight on. Just say we create our own schools and we'll teach our children what the hell we want to. And if it's illegal that we teach this to our kids, then we'll fight that fight. But trying to force everybody to teach Black history properly, I don't know if I would take on the entire fight. I would take on a fight to make sure that our kids got history properly when we control them, because I think we really do better jobs at teaching our kids.
Yeah, I need to get touched back up on my Black history because I'm slipping. You were saying some names like W. Du Bois. I forgot what he did.
Oh, W.B. Du Bois is souls of Black people, Black folks. He's famous for writing that book. He's famous for being the first Black person to graduate from Harvard University, which he shouldn't have been anyway, because Martin Delane was way smarter than him, and Martin Delane was in Harvard University way before Du Bois. But he did a lot of things. He was a Pan-Africanist. And I want to emphasize that about Black people. We all should need to be. I know a lot of Black folks don't like hearing this because you see a lot of these Black African people come over, and many of them from different countries, and they got attitudes. That's something I would like to talk about one day about their a lot of them do have attitudes because of what they've been taught about Black people in America. You should hear what they sit down and talk to them. They'll tell you what white people tell them about Black people. They say some horrible things about Black people. White people do. And so you got to remember, these many Black Africans, they don't know anything about Black Americans. Honestly, they really don't know much about Black Americans at all, right?
So they hate us because of what the white people say.
Well,
why they give us attitude, and then they flip the side over to us like they poor and hungry and starving and running around here with AIDS.
Well, and then on top of that. Yeah, and on top of that, what else is when they come over, they see these images, bad images being depicted in the media about what Black people are doing. Okay. Now, let me just say this to their defense. Let me just say this to their defense. They really don't know a goddamn thing about Black Americans at all. They know nothing about what Black Americans have gone through at all. And I have had to sit down and talk to them and teach them a Black history and say, whoa, we didn't know all of this. Of course you didn't. Nobody's going to teach you all these things. And so what you see is the product, like the welfare system, breaking up the Black family. They didn't know that. They said, well, these men don't want to be fathers. No, that's not true. See, a lot of what they don't know, a lot of what Black people have gone through, period. They don't. They've never been taught it. So one of the things I would like, and W.E. Du Bois, he was a person, by the way, he died in Ghana because he left the United States after the NAACP used him to legitimize it and make it so a darky place. NAACP is not for Black. It has never been a Black organization.
Frankie just came back from Ghana.
Huh?
Frankie just came back from Ghana not too long ago.
Oh, Frankie did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Frankie should talk about that. But you're familiar with Nkrumah Frankie? Hello?
Frankie, yeah, she off.
Oh, okay. So the thing is this: the Black Africans, and I can't group them all together because I shouldn't be that. I shouldn't do that. I should say who they are, because that's like saying the Americans, and you don't know what I'm talking about. But many, I'm just for discussions. I'm going to say Black Africans. Many of them don't know a thing about Black Americans at all, other than what white people tell them. And the images white people share. Mm-hmm. That's what they know. And so we're going to have to educate them as well. Because at the end of the day, the way Africa goes, we go. There's no way in hell Africa is going to go down to hell and Black people aren't also going to be victims of it. There's no way in hell. So I know it's unfortunate, but it's true. We're going to have to work with each other because we're all part of the first family anyway. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to work it out. And we got to get economically together. We're going to have to get ourselves together, really. So I believe in Pan-Africanism because ultimately we are going to have to being Black is bigger than just in America.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Who disagrees? Angie's over there quiet.
Yeah. Well, she probably
sleep.
Yeah, she probably sleep.
I think
I
think being Black is beautiful because everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants to talk about us, but then everybody wants to be us.
Of course, they want to be us.
And I just really just think if we stand our ground, we really can make a difference.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, this is the thing. One of the things that I hate about our culture. This is the thing I hate about our culture. We will stand up for each other, but temporarily. But we won't continue that energy. You see what I'm saying? For instance, like I watched this TikTok of this guy, and he was talking about how George Floyd had passed away. When George Floyd had passed away, he was like, "Why don't we act like that?" That was a prime example right there. I mean, and I get the Alabama brawl, but just think, if people would have act like that when George Floyd was in that situation, he will still be here to this day. Instead of just sitting there watching police do brutality, if it's more of you than it is of them when doing wrong, we got the upper hand at the end of the day.
I agree.
Like I said, but the whole issue is we move on temporarily basis. We don't follow through. The whole world blew up when that happened to George. But again, what did that solve? Nothing. What ended up happening? Nothing. Because we didn't follow through with the process.
I agree. And why did Ferguson happen? I'm going to tell you. And again, that's politics again. Listen, Black people make that county. There's no goddamn way that there should have been a white mayor or so many white police officers. Black people didn't even bother to vote. Some could not vote, by the way. Let me tell you what they were doing. to make sure that some black people wouldn't vote. They were illegally stopping a lot of black people, speeding tickets and all types of crazy stuff. And when the people didn't show up, of course, they give them felonies. And once they got the felonies, guess what? They couldn't vote. They intentionally did not want black people to be able to vote, because as long as you can't vote, guess what? You can't put me out of power. Well, but there was more black people left who could vote. And had they voted, they would never have had a white man. They wouldn't have that white police officer either. Because we run you. We vote. You know who runs this place around here.
But who said?
Let me tell you what those black people did. After everybody went through, all these black people descended upon Ferguson and everything, and guess what? Then why the hell are you not voting? Now, Ferguson's primarily voting, and black people vote. Do you hear any problems out of Ferguson now?
Nope.
No, you don't. Black people are voting. They're getting off their goddamn asses and understanding how this works. It's a sad thing. What Michael Brown, was it Michael Brown in Ferguson, I believe? That was horrible what that white boy did to him. Just gonna kill him like that. He's got his hands up. Well, he's still coming toward me. Man, he's so far away from you. You know, this is ridiculous. And you couldn't have been a threat to you at all. You just wanted to kill him. So my thing is this. Black folks went there and told them, you got to vote. I don't give a fuck what you heard. Get off your ass and vote. And guess black folks got off their asses, start voting, and you don't hear that problem anymore from Ferguson. It's simple as that. But see, that's why they were putting things in place where black people couldn't vote. And that's another thing they do. Republicans do this a lot too. Republicans will go after black people so black people get felonies so they can't vote. They can't vote. But they only do that because they know you're not going to vote for them. Mm-hmm. Okay? The moment they think that you're going to vote for them, you'll see them change real quick. Whoa, he's a good black guy. But they'll change real fast when they think you're going to vote for them.
I thought that you can't vote being a felon.
You can't. In 14 states, I believe it's still outlawed. Maybe 12. Let me check. I can go check for you. It used to be.
In Indiana, look, in Indiana, you can vote with a felony.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know about that thing.
And the only reason why I know that is because back in the day, you can't check it because the record is expunged. I got into some trouble and I did catch a felony, and then I voted when I was at Ivy Tech. They came up to me and said, hey, I forgot who was running then, whoever was running then. And the lady was like, hey, you want to vote? And I was like, I can't vote. She was like, why you can't vote? And I was like, because I have a felony. She was like, you can vote in Indiana. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. Maybe next time.
Yeah, you can vote in state of Indiana. I know that.
But I feel like he's talking to me though when he cussing us out about voting, because I really am that type of person who really do need to vote. But when it comes time, I really think that you really need to talk about this and really break this down in a perspective to make people understand how important it is to actually vote. Because I'm gonna be honest, like me, the reason why I don't vote because I feel like my vote doesn't matter, and I'm pretty sure that's the scenario. I truly believe that how other people believe, and then also too, the other thing is people gonna say, well, they're gonna do whatever they want to do anyway. Okay, but but in the essence, I do get it though. But how will I know that they're gonna do whatever they want to do if I don't vote?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. If you don't believe that your vote counts, you can always go, and they always allow people to see votes being counted. Now, they don't know which vote is yours.
We don't know. You see what I'm saying? You talking to stuff. You talking stuff that like us, we really don't notice. That's what I'm saying in general. Like I think we really need to be taught. You know what I mean? Not necessarily taught. We need to be educated, because I think it is a lot of us out here that just really don't understand how important it is to vote. Don't understand how important it is to stand your ground. Don't really understand that. And then like if it's enough of us, if we feel like a certain type of way, like he's saying, it's time to start voting these people out. Period.
Right. So if you ever if you have any doubt about votes being counted, there are places you can go and you can actually watch them count votes. Okay. So yeah. So secondly, we gotta understand neither side wants the other to have an advantage. So the Republicans want to just discount any Democrat vote whatsoever, if for any reason. And Democrats want to discount Republican votes for any reason. They do want to discount each other's votes constantly. Okay. So now, so that's the thing. When we say that we don't believe our votes count, they count. We just may not win. Now,
Right.
does your vote count for the president? No, it doesn't, because it's never been designed to count for the president. the states legislators decide who they're going to vote for. Now, do most states go the way that state legislators, do they mostly go the way that their states want to vote? So most people want, hey, listen, I want you to vote. I want you to vote for, I don't know, Joe Biden. Most legislators in the unions in the states will vote for Joe Biden. So, but no, you don't vote directly for the president. And I got to look at the U.S. Supreme Court decision to see if even the legislators have to vote the way that the people want the vote to go for their state. You know, that's why we have an electoral college. The electoral college was designed mostly because basically, if you don't have an electoral college, if you only go to 3 states, you can win the election and nobody else matters. For instance, go to not New York anymore. What are the top 3 states now? I think it's California, Florida, and Texas. If you want to win the election for president, you just campaign for those 3 states, because the rest of you don't really matter. You're not the majority of the states. And New York, go to New York too. Campaign in these 4 states, you probably will win the election. I don't know for sure. It's just an example, okay? I don't know how many electoral votes. I don't know how many electoral votes each has. I have to look it up. But the point is this: you only have to go to a couple states to even win, and you can ignore the rest of the states because you don't matter. You don't have the population, right? So that's the reason why they didn't want a majority takes all. Basically, you go to the populous states. They got the most population. If those people vote and you win, it doesn't matter what the rest want, because their population doesn't come close to yours.
Yep.
So
I think that's why people don't vote in Indiana. I think that's why it's hard to get people to vote in Indiana. Only time Indiana broke record was when President Obama was in office. And we made history when we turned Indiana to a Democratic state. That's the only time.
Hey,
and what we do, we
boy,
went back
no
red.
fucking way, boy.
And then we went back red. So people just don't. They just don't vote in Indiana. They just don't.
Because
they really
Obama's
feel like
a
they
letdown.
don't matter. But I'm saying it's hard to get people to vote in Indiana because people just really feel like their vote don't matter. In Indiana, like I'm saying.
Yeah,
but he's saying go to another state to make your vote count. So I get what he's saying.
No, I'm not saying you got to go to another state to make your vote. I'm just saying that you can actually go to places to ensure the votes count. You can do that in Indianapolis because I used to work with the polls, so you can actually do that. Okay, so you can make sure that people's votes count. You can watch them being counted. The problem I have with Black people not voting is that you can question the federal votes all day long. You can question state votes, but you should be able to control your local government in your county and know that's right there they voting right in your face right there. They counting votes right in your face right there. Why have you not voted?
Because they don't.
That's crazy. And guess what? Most of the things that are going to impact you they're not from the federal level, state level. It's your local government. That's where most of the impact is. So absolutely vote. Absolutely vote. And I think what major reason black people are not voting is because black people have been let down so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Black people have been given their all voting. And what in the hell do the Democrats do? They bring illegals over here and dump them on black people. Why would you do that? Why would you make black people have to now compete more jobs with people who are not supposed to be here? Why are you doing that? You know why they're doing that, by the way, don't you? You know why Joe Biden's doing that? I'll tell you the reason why Joe Biden's doing it. I know for a fact why he's doing it. Because these liberal states are losing population. People are running out of New York. They're running out of California. They're running out of Illinois. They're running out of liberal states because it costs too much to live there. They're wanting to live in conservative red Republican states. It's cheaper to live. And guess what? Now the Democrats are losing. Once they lose population, they lose what? Electors. They lose what? Congressional seats in Congress, right?
Right.
So that's the reason why they're doing that. Bringing all these damn people from different countries, don't know if they're rapists, child molesters, they don't know if they're murderers, they don't know a damn thing about it. And then they dump them off on near the black people. You don't know a damn thing about these people here, right? You don't know what they might do to his population. And you're going to dump them off right where? Black people. So Democrats think of you. That's what Democrats think of you. So I understand black people have done so much support of the Democrat Party, and Democrats screw black people over every time.
Yeah, that's why they feel like they don't matter.
So people say, you know what? To hell with it. I'm not voting. I sit and vote Democrat, and they don't do anything. Look at Obama. We vote for Obama. What did he do? He helped everybody but black people. That's how black people feel.
Figure it out.
Yes, how black people feel. He helped everybody but black people. That's how black people generally feel, it seems. So then black people say, you know what? I'm not voting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. Anyway, I got to be at work tomorrow. I love talking to you all. It was great.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
If you all need anybody else, let me know. If you ever need somebody, because I'm long-winded as hell, but have some questions here so I can answer.
Yeah,
so
we got it next time. I know. I just wanted you to touch down on your culture calendar.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And next time we can jump into some other stuff.
Thank you, Darnell. Thank you, Angie, and thank you, Tina. I certainly appreciate you all.
Okay.
I kind of dozed off on y'all. I'm tired, y'all.
It's okay.
Yeah, so,
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
next time I'll have some questions and stuff.
All right.
I'm gonna look up some stuff you talked about too.
Okay.
I already was looking at Wall Street. I was already looking at Wall Street. I didn't even know that New York used to belong to Amsterdam. So
See, we be Googling stuff over here. Don't think we don't, because we definitely
good.
They do.
Good. Prove me wrong. I could be wrong about something. Say, no, that's not right. This is wrong. That's good. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna end it, but we can still stay on. I'm gonna end it. All right on, cuz. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go to bed because I'm tired. I still gotta take a shower.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
it.
You
all take care.
All right.
All right. Take care, Angie. Take care, T, and take care, Darnell.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.